Deep within the overgrown woods of Ashbourne County stands Blackwood Manor, a house untouched by time, yet twisted by it. The trees grow thicker here. The wind seems to whisper secrets in a language long forgotten. Locals refuse to speak of it, but every child growing up within 20 miles knows the stories. They know what happens to those who go in, and they know, above all, never to follow the lights. The story begins in 1812 when Elias Blackwood, a wealthy aristocrat, commissioned the construction of the manor. Elias had travelled far and wide, returning from distant lands with artifacts, scrolls and stories that made the hairs on one's neck rise. People whispered that he was a man obsessed with death, or rather, what came after. Blackwood Manor was not built to house a family. It was built as a monument, a labyrinth and a gateway. Its hallways twisted unnaturally as if they bent around something that couldn't be seen. It had more rooms than its blueprints accounted for, and a central library that seemed to breathe with every turn of the page. Elias claimed it was the perfect home, but others felt it watched them. Elias lived there with his wife Margaret and their 2 children, Cecilia and James, but only for 3 years. In 1815, Elias disappeared. His last known whereabouts were his study. The servants heard screaming, a deep growl like no earthly creature, and then silence. When they burst into the room, it was empty. No blood, no body. Just the fireplace still burning and his journal, pages torn and words written in a language that shimmered. Margaret went mad within days. She roamed the halls eyes wide, humming lullabies that Cecilia swore she never knew. One morning, Cecilia found her mother in the drawing room, sitting upright in a chair, smiling at nothing. Her skin was cold. Her hands had been folded around a key, an ornate silver thing, ancient in design. James, just 7 years old, began talking to someone in the walls. Cecilia was the last to leave. She ran in the dead of night, barefoot through the woods, until she reached the village. She never spoke of what she saw, but she never slept with the lights off again. For decades, Blackwood Manor stood abandoned, windows dark, gates rusting, but the villagers said the air around it never settled. Animals refused to go near. Some said they heard piano music drifting from the upper floors at night. Others saw candles flicker behind the glass. One hunter followed a blood trail through the forest and came upon the manor's doorstep. He was found days later, naked, weeping, with no memory except the words, "She's still singing." In 1864, the manor was purchased by the Grafton family. Henry Grafton was a businessman from London, skeptical of superstition. He brought his wife and 4 daughters, determined to renovate the property. Workers were hired, rooms cleaned. For a time, it was alive again. Until the youngest daughter, Abigail, vanished. They found her shoes at the edge of the attic. No note, no sound, just her voice sometimes late at night calling for her sisters in the dark. Mrs. Grafton began seeing a woman in the mirror, not her reflection, but something else. Something wearing her face, but older with hollow eyes. Servants quit in droves. Henry tried to hold things together, but each night brought new nightmares. One by one, the family unraveled. In less than a year, they were gone, missing, dead, or institutionalized. The manor once again was silent. During World War I, Blackwood Manor was repurposed as a field hospital. The wounded were brought in, but many never left. Soldiers began reporting voices, phantom footsteps, and shadows that moved against the light. One nurse recorded in her diary, "There are more patients than beds, but not all are alive. Some just watch." In 1922, a team of psychical researchers, early ghost hunters, ventured into the manor with cameras, journals, and instruments. They stayed for 1 week. Only one emerged, Dr. Leonard Mays. He was incoherent, scribbling symbols in chalk on his hospital walls. When asked what he saw, he said only, "We opened the wrong door. It knows me now." The manor's reputation grew. It was listed as condemned. But that didn't stop the curious. Occultists, thrill-seekers, skeptics all tried their luck. Some disappeared, some came back changed. In 1977, Blackwood Manor was featured in a documentary. The film crew captured hours of footage, doors closing on their own, a clock ticking backward, a figure at the end of a hall, too tall, too still. The documentary never aired. The producer died in a car crash the day before release. His notes, recovered from his office, contained only one line, repeated over and over. There are no ghosts in Blackwood, only echoes that feed. In 1998, the government intervened. An official team of paranormal investigators entered with the latest equipment. They installed motion sensors, thermal cameras, EMF detectors. For 48 hours, the house was quiet. Then all devices failed simultaneously. Power was cut. The team's final recording was a single frame, the main hallway drenched in shadow, and a single eye opening in the center of the floor. After that, Blackwood Manor was sealed, fenced off, declared a hazard zone. But the stories continued. People saw lights in the windows, heard music where there should be none. Some hikers claimed to find the manor in different locations, as if it moved when no one watched. In 2012, a local journalist named Clara Hensley began investigating. She compiled eyewitness accounts, historical records, and surviving journals from the Blackwood family. Her conclusion was chilling. Blackwood Manor is not haunted, it is alive. It shifts, it changes, it waits. It feeds not on death but on memory, on fear, on belief. Those who enter become part of it. Rooms made of regrets, walls lined with forgotten dreams. It does not trap you, it makes you never want to leave. Clara herself disappeared 2 months after publishing her article. Her last voicemail to a friend was this: "I think I found the door, the real one. I just need to know what's behind it." Today, Blackwood Manor still stands, hidden by forest, erased from maps, but still there. Some say if you listen closely on quiet nights, you can hear music from its ballroom, and the sound of footsteps that don't belong to anything living. Some say you can still see Elias Blackwood in the windows, watching, waiting. And some say the manor isn't in Ashbourne anymore, that it travels, that if you dream of it, it's already too late. So if you ever see a path in the woods you don't remember, if you hear a piano playing with no source, and if a house appears where there was none before, turn away. Don't follow the lights, don't open the door, because Blackwood Manor doesn't want to be found, it wants to find you.